Happy Friday! Today we're going to talk about solving inequalities by multiplying or dividing. So, first of all, get out your binders and flip to lesson 2.10. We are going to do our bell ringer for the day. So this is review from yesterday. I'm going to draw names for who's going to the board today. Today is Yanadis is number 1 and Justin is number 2. So take a minute, do those problems, and put the problems up on the board, and then we'll come back together. So pause the video. Okay, so when we solve this, we would get we would have c plus 5 less than -2, draw our line, and then we need to subtract 5 from both sides. When we do that, the 5's cancel out, and we're left with c is less than -7. Our signs are the same, so we add the numbers and keep the sign. So I'm going to put a circle at -7. Hopefully I'm just drawing right over Yanadis' work. And it should be open because there's no line underneath it. So stays open. And then we want values that are less than -7. So I'm going to shade to the left. I want values that are less than -7. All right, so for the second one, we have p minus 9 greater than or equal to -3. I'm running out of room here, so I'm just going to have to draw a little bit onto the number line. I'm going to start by adding 9 to both sides. Draw my line, and I cross those out. I get p is greater than or equal to +6. P is greater than or equal to +6. So I'm going to put a circle at 6. I'm going to fill it in, because it is equal to, so it could be 6, and I want values that are greater than, so I'm going to shade to the right. And there we have it. Hopefully that looks exactly how you guys had it. If not, take a moment, pause, and discuss where mistakes were made. So today we're still talking about solving inequalities, but we are now talking about using multiplication and division. So when you're solving an inequality, follow the same steps as solving an equation. We're going to do the opposite operation. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. And same rules apply. What we do to one side, we do to the other. However, when it comes to inequalities, there's one extra rule that doesn't exist in equations. And that is this. When you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, we have to flip the inequality sign. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality sign. And we're going to take a look at what that means in a couple of these examples. But I want you to write that down right now because that is very, very, very important. Okay, so it says solve the inequality and graph the solution. So let's go with green. Green's a good color. I'm going to draw my line. And now I'm going to say, okay, what's happening between the 2 and the D? They're being multiplied. So the opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. When I do that, the 2's over here cancel out, and I just have D is greater than 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I'm going to put a circle at 8. It does not have an equal to, so it's going to stay open, and then I'm going to shade to the right. All right, so that's it. D greater than 8, shade to the right. Let's look at this one. Now we have D over 2, or D divided by 2, is less than or equal to 16. So here, D and 2 are being divided. So to do the opposite, I have to multiply. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Those cancel out, and I have D is less than or equal to, when I multiply those, I get 32. Now the problem is my number line doesn't really go to 32, so I'm going to add some numbers. I'm going to say that this is 32, 33, 34, 35, etc. So that would make this be 29, 28, etc. So I'm going to put a circle at 32. Put a circle at 32 and then shade it in because it is equal to. And I want all numbers that are less than 32. So I'm going to shade to the right. If you'd rather not write over the number line that's in your notes, you can draw your own number line and just put a negative, or sorry, it's a positive 32 there. And then like have 33, 34, either way. Whatever it takes for you to know what's happening. All right. Solve the inequality and graph the solution. So here, first thing I'm going to notice is that I have a negative sign. So my rule says that if I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to change the sign. So when I multiply or divide by a negative, this sign right here changes. So instead of being greater than, it's going to switch to less than. Now over here, negative 4 cancel out. We're left with D. 32 divided by negative 4 is going to give me negative 8. When I go to graph that, I'm going to put a circle at negative 8. Leave it open. There's no equal to. And then I want values. Whoa, I don't know how I did that. Values that are less than negative 8. Sometimes you learn new things about your technology and what it can do, guys. And that's all we get. Just don't forget about that negative. It changes your inequality. So let's practice that one more time. I'm going to say, hold on, I have a negative. Oh, that wasn't a good color to use. I have a negative here. And so when I multiply by negative 3, it's going to change this inequality sign right here. So I'm going to get D is now less than positive 9. Put a circle at 9, leave it open because it doesn't have an equal to, and then shade all values to the left. And that's it. Let's do a word problem together. An elevator can carry a maximum weight of 3,000 pounds. That's the maximum. Matt needs to send boxes of books from the 1st to the 5th floor. If each box, oops, oh no, don't look at your homework yet. If each box weighs 48 pounds, how many boxes can he send at a time? So we're trying to figure out how many boxes. So we know that the maximum is 3,000. He has 48 pounds, so each box is 48 pounds. So I'm going to take, I did it again. We're going to take 48 and multiply that by the number of boxes. Because if I just have one box, it would be 48 pounds. 2 boxes, it would be 48 times 2, 96 pounds, etc. But what I need to know is what inequality do I put in here? So I'm going to think about this. It says a maximum weight. So can I have more than 3,000 pounds? How about less? Well, can the elevator carry more than 3,000 pounds? No. Can the elevator carry less than 3,000? Yes, it can. So since it can carry less, I'm going to use the less than. It can also equal 30,000, so I'm going to put a divided sign there. Now I have to draw my line and divide both sides by 48. When I do that, I'm using a calculator. Don't think I'm doing this in my head. Divide by 48. I get B is less than or equal to 62.5. But we have to think about, what does this mean? B represents the number of boxes. So when we think about our answer, we have to say, okay, can we have half of a box? Probably not. That doesn't really make sense. Things are probably not going to stay very well in that box. So we can either have 62 or 63 boxes. Well, can we have more than this? No. So we can't have 63 boxes. We can only have 62 is the maximum number of boxes. So we have to write our sentence. It can carry 62 boxes. And I'm going to say something like at most. You could rephrase that and say, Matt can send at most 62 boxes or something along those lines. As long as you're getting this idea down on paper, along with your inequality and your answer, then we're good. But when it comes to word problems, remember, we have to think, does it make sense? So that's why we had to change it to 62. So your homework for today is page 119, numbers 1 through 3, and then 4 through 22 even. When you're done, you can finish working on your worksheet that you hopefully started yesterday and bring all of that homework and worksheet to class on Monday. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.